I call the honourable member, Chris Ockenville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and may I say what a pleasure it is to rise to speak in favour of the Plumbers, Gasfitters and Drylandlayers Validation of Fees and Levies Amendment Bill, as sponsored by the Building and Construction Minister, Maurice Williamson, and indeed to follow the previous Speaker, who clearly understands the circumstances and the situation of this bill coming before the House. I must say, Mr. Speaker, it's a pleasant continuum of my parliamentary career, because in 2005 I served on the Commerce Select Committee, even though while we were in opposition it nonetheless had an opposition chair. And at that stage we handled the Gasfitters, Plumbers and Drylandlayers Amendment Bill. I see Marion Street, Honourable Marion Street nodding. You remember the event? And it wasn't...
No, I don't actually, so please don't bring the Speaker into the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I notice the Honourable Marion Street does remember. And it was a fascinating, a very engaging bill. They are a remarkably dedicated body of people, and I found the whole thing particularly interesting. They did have problems as an organisation, and I like to think that we were able to help them. The problems continued on for a while, but consistently there have been improvements in the direction that this very, very important industry has been going in. This is actually, and I note the concerns of the previous Speaker, that we should be cautious with this. It's retrospective, it's validating, and that sort of thing. He's quite correct, but it is a very important bill that we progress with nonetheless. It's a bill that will capture few, if any, headlines, but this does not take away from the importance of its field or its intent. The bill tidies up legislation around the funding of the Plumbers, Gasfitters and Drylandlayers Board so that it can effectively do their job of protecting public safety. The bill also validates the PGD Board's disciplinary levy, which funds investigations, prosecutions of plumbers, gasfitters and drainlayers who are found to have been in breach of best practices or who are practising without the proper skills or qualifications. Let's remember, Mr. Speaker, the difficulty we had in maintaining the volume of plumbers that we needed. Recently, during a Prime Ministerial visit to the West Coast, we visited a plumber's business which had been highlighted by the Development Trust on the West Coast as the Business of the Year. And it's fascinating to see the level of skill, qualification and dedication that is required to ensure that the services are properly passed on to houses. Plumbers, in fact, may I suggest, Mr. Speaker, do more for longevity than the health services do at a medical level, because they look after our well-being prior to illness and disease. The amendments that are being proposed, Mr. Speaker, are in keeping with the original intent of the law, and that is the reassuring bit. It's clear that the government's intention was always for the PGD Board's prosecution function to be funded by the industry. All its statutory functions are funded through fees and levies charged under the Plumbers, Gasfitters and Drylandlayers Act, that famous one which Marion Street remembers, 2006. The clarifications this amendment bill makes are simply a move to reflect the true meaning and purpose of the law as it should have been put forward. I look forward to working towards this with my colleagues on the Government Administration Committee, who have proved over recent months their ability to handle with competence and focus bills both large in prognostication and division, as well as those of a forthright and logical nature like this one. I support this bill coming to the committee, Mr. Speaker, and I call on the House to do the same. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.